right now crypto is in a nice spot. We did go ahead and secure some buys down here. So this was the range. We broke above these highs, right? And this is the lows. This is the stop loss right here. So this whole area is good for buys essentially. But luckily we respected the higher part of this area, so not much drawdown. Price flew 10,000 points essentially. If we caught like around 100,000, we caught it like a little bit below. I was around 10,000 points almost, but a super nice reaction. And if you draw the fib from the lows to the highs, price came back to the 786, 886 area. So pretty solid sniper on the retest. If you were able to capitalize on some of this right here, we came back to the same area, right? The same structure that we broke above. So that was always the entry. Price came back for you 3 times, 3 opportunities to get in twice yesterday. And then once again this morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So if you took that trade, you're up, 2,500 pips just off that retest right in there, right? So far, crypto, Bitcoin still in a good spot. We did make new all-time highs again. So we broke past the 108 previous all-time high. So pretty solid. So I'm still looking for price to continue. And again, we're also looking at this structure here. We also broke above these highs. So that's also good. Prices keeps making the higher highs and higher lows, and we keep breaking previous highs the same way we first did down here. We broke above, retested twice, took off, broke above here, retested 3 times, took off, broke above here, couple retests. So we're still looking good. Still looking good. That's on Bitcoin. Ethereum as well. We did break above, these highs right in here the first time. Let me go ahead and extend this. We broke above the highs right in there. We broke above these highs as well. And as we see here, price is still respecting all this. Still in this area, respecting the structure. So I will continue to add positions inside of this zone here. This is where people get faked out. They lose confidence. But as long as we don't violate the stop loss, which would be the swing low, we should still be good. This is still giving us that bullish momentum. We're still breaking structure to the upside. We haven't really broken any lows. These are the next higher lows, right? We have the swing low, which is the stop loss, and then a higher low here that we haven't broken beneath. If you really zoom in here, we did get some of the setup. We have a low here, the high, sweep, right? This is the sweep, because if you look left to get right, we see that the immediate candle to the left, we swept the lows. We swept this wick's lows, we swept all these lows here with this down candle. And then we broke above the highs with these 2 candles. Came back to retest, and we're still respecting these lows down here, let alone these. So we're still in the buy zone. And if it ever looks too confusing, always go to the line chart. You see it better. This was the lows. These are the highs. Right, we swept, broke above, retest, gone. And if you look here, this is a whole nother setup. Right, the lows, the highs, all that. And then this was the sweep. Break above. So all this is a secondary setup within the first setup. So this is another confirmation. So if we're not on Bitcoin, I would say Ethereum's in a better buy zone right now. You have a better risk to reward, since Bitcoin already kind of like ran 2,000 pips from the entry. We're still here within the the second entry here, right? XRP, same thing. We had broken above these highs right in here, and we did get this retest, because this one came even deeper to the second structure here. We came into there, tapped into the order block, the zone here. We tapped into that, came back above this structure, retested twice. It's looking good. So I would say Ethereum is the best one to take. If you're not already in XRP or Bitcoin, just don't even worry about it unless it comes back. Set a buy limit at the previous, structure, and just wait. Just wait for it. But yeah, Ethereum's looking the best as far as gold. Gold is here as well. It's having some trouble. Right here, we came back to this area. We broke above these highs. Right, at first we broke above these highs and we held, and then we actually sold beneath them, but we respected some of this previous structure in here. If you look closely, we had a setup. We had the lows being made, we had the highs, and it was consolidating. And then we eventually swept with this wick. We swept these lows. If you look left of the wick, we see that we swept all these lows here, and then we did break above the full body candle, above these highs right here. And then price came all the way back to the same area and then actually swept the stop loss of this whole setup, which also happens. That's when they say your stop loss is my entry, because sometimes the setup needs to get cooked in order for price to continue. So it just swept everyone's stop loss here. Since everyone is essentially trading, structure and the setup, they know everyone's stop loss is there. So they swept that. Okay, and then they actually didn't tap into this imbalance, which is fine, doesn't have to. But keep that in mind. Like, there's a whole imbalance right here, but they didn't even tap it. So it doesn't always have to come back to the imbalance or the order block, but they did sweep the structure, swing lows. And because of that sweep, we actually ended up breaking above these highs here, which is a confirmation that we want to go higher because we just broke structure to the upside. And this is also another setup. Look at the low with this wick, the high here. We ended up sweeping these lows right in there. If you look to the lowest wick and just look at all the wicks to the left of the lowest wick, we technically swept all that, and then we broke above the highs, and we've been retesting. So you can go ahead and, buy limits look good here at this structure. We see every time we came back for the retest, we didn't really have that much drawdown. There's also an imbalance here as well. So, price can either respect the structure, or maybe it wants to sweep these lows, put a buy limit there, or, maybe it wants to come deeper into the imbalance. But I would always set buy limits at wicks that need to get swept, because that's where price likes to target, the wicks, because that's liquidity. So I'm looking for price to continue. I'm going to have the Fibonacci right here from these lows to the highs. 50% is the blue. Discount buys would be below the blue. So, honestly, if we can catch these next buys, that will take us to break above this structure. That would be solid. All right, we end up buying somewhere here, partial out at these highs, keep something running. So if it does break above, when you take the next trade, you already have some profit in your account. And so it just helps you feel better about the trade as well. And then ride that buy up to the next target. Take some partials. Let it come back down and rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. And again, if you just look back, we see that we're breaking above structure. Breaking above structure. All right, I have a pop quiz for you guys. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're ready for a pop quiz. Let me know. Okay. I was getting worried for a second. I was like,
yeah, 1, but I'm trying to push it.
All right, so let's see what this is. We have an uptrend. Okay, price starts to consolidate. Give you the liquidities, sweep. break above. I'm going to give you guys 4 options. I'm going to give you 4 options. 2, 3, 4. So, just so you know, I'm going to ask you, where is the entry? I'm going to put these lines on the chart, and you're going to have to tell me where the entry is. Is it at line 1? Is it at line 2? Is it at line 3? Or is it at line 4? All 3.1 lots. I mean, yeah, personally for me, yeah. But where's the original entry for like if you're brand new and you don't know the sauce like Takai. Takai knows the sauce. Once everyone else gets the first part down, then yeah, don't know exactly. Yeah, so it is 1 technically, right? Just to be like the original entry, like if someone's brand new, they don't know that you can do buy limits at all these other areas as well. But let's say they're seeing the setup for the first time. Entry is going to be here at these highs. And then the stop loss, you guys know where the stop loss goes, right? Let's just say this is 2. Yeah, 3. Exactly. 3. So this is the stop loss. So you know that all this whole blue box is your entry zone. All of it. So when price is in here doing its thing, I always do the buy limit 0.01 test trade at the top, just so I'm in the trade. And since it's a small lot, it doesn't matter the drawdown because you're not going crazy. But as price is in here and gives you more confirmations, then you can do more trades inside. Boom. And then let's say this setup gets cooked and it goes even lower and gives you another setup, sweeps the stop loss, and then gives you the move. Like, this can happen. And then you would still put your entry there. Boom. Boom. And now you have trades at all these entries. So when the price actually goes, you have like a bunch of trades in here. Now you have a whole position in the market. This may take longer. This requires more patience, but allowing this to happen will build your confidence in trusting the setup, because you allowed price to go against you and draw down, and you were able to see structure and price action form inside of this setup. You're now able to have more confidence to hold the trade and draw down and let it actually play out and accumulate as much as it needs to before it makes the move. So now you're actually building a position in the market. And this can happen on any time frame. And the higher the time frame, the better, because that trade can last you the whole year plus. And then you have just like profits going crazy because you were positioned in the market deep on the weekly or the daily. And let's say this is like a weekly time frame and we break the weekly highs. We break above right here, boom. You got stacked. You're pretty much stacked in here. But because we broke above weekly highs, when price does come back, and you probably already secured 90% of your profits, you're letting some runners run at that point, because anytime you hit highs, there's a chance for price to reverse. The same, whereas as if you hit lows and you sweep it, there's a chance for price to reverse. So it's always good to take partials or profits at these levels. Even if it's a 1-3, it's a 1-2, 1-1, or whatever, you still want to use the highs. You still want to use the highs every single time, right? Same thing with these highs. You can use these highs to partial out, especially if you caught trades down here. Definitely want to do that. So and then if price does come back to retest, because if price doesn't come back to retest every time we break structure, then that leaves an imbalance. Right? Let's say this is a wick here, and then this is the last wick. Now we have an imbalance. But if price does come back for the retest, that means that this candle is now balanced. That's essentially every candle. Right? You think of it like that. If price doesn't come back for the retest, this is the monthly time frame on gold. You see how price, we broke above this structure. We broke above these highs, but we never got the retest. Now what happened? We have an imbalance. Right? The retest is needed to balance the candle. We broke above these highs, no retest. We also broke above these highs. No retest. And as you see, they're all in balance. And then you want to mark up these lows as well. So in between these lows and then the highs, this wick was supposed to come down and retest, but we never got the retest. And because we never got that retest, this candle here is now imbalanced. That's how imbalance is created. So you need the break and retest every time to ensure that there's healthy price action. And of course, imbalances don't have to be filled. Like, this is the monthly time frame. We haven't even filled this imbalance. Right? This may or may not ever be filled. We don't know. We don't know. Even here, we had the break. We broke above these highs here, and we almost got the retest. So yes, I'm liking buys here, but if we ever come back down here, I'll have a buy limit set ready. If I see price approaching this area, I'll go ahead and set a buy limit. But if you hold this and we end up breaking above these highs on the monthly, then I know we want to go to the next highs up here, and then these highs. Right? Every high is a checkpoint. Every high is a checkpoint. Every low is a checkpoint. Something significant is happening at every high and every low. We're either sweeping it or breaking above. And I want to make sure at these areas I'm paying attention. Especially if I'm buying. If I want to see buys, I want to see breaks. I want to see breaks of structure at the highs for buys. And also for buys, I want to see sweeps of the lows to continue the buys. Right, that's key. If you're looking for buys, you want to see breaks of structure and sweeps of lows. And then opposite for sells. You want to see structure break. And then you want to see lows get swept. Because we know on a smaller time frame, this is happening. Let's go to the weekly real quick, or the daily. This is what I mean. Boom. Every time a high gets broken, we give a setup. Let me see if it looks better on this time frame. I don't know why it doesn't let me do what I want to do. There we go. So the market moves like this to break structure. Boom. Boom. This is how structure is actually being broken. But I just draw it like this. People draw it like this. It looks so simple. But this is how it's actually happening. Every time. We're breaking the highs. And then prices coming back to retest. We swept the lows. Price comes in here, you're buying. And this just keeps happening over and over. Breaking the highs, sweeping the lows, and maybe it doesn't come back to retest. So now we have imbalance right here. And then let's say this one comes all the way down to finally retest. It's the same thing though. We broke above these highs. We swept the lows. We broke above these highs. We swept the lows. We really swept deep. We swept deep. We swept these lows and these lows. You can even use that right there, because this is also a sweep. And by sweeping these, we filled in this imbalance and finally got the retest that we needed. And then price really flew. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, honestly.
Nope.
That's crazy. Who said that? That's wild. I can go back over it. But yeah, the market opens here in 9 minutes. Looking at NAS. Let's go to NAS real quick. We're still up. It's still up. NAS has been flying for over 800 pips, 900 pips. Right, NAS has been doing its thing. This was the buy zone. If I really look close here, just go over what we just went over. We see that we had all this liquidity being built up, just back and forth for a while. We eventually made these swing lows and then these swing highs. So this whole area is just liquidity from this low to this high. All this to the left now is just liquidity to me. And then we drop to sweep these lows. Price comes below and we sweep, take out this liquidity. And then we first break these highs. First we make some highs here. We come back and then price finally breaks out of these highs. The first indication of price breaking structure to continue bullish. We get up here, we even break these. More confirmation. We come back. We have more lows that are created in the market. We have some highs here. And then boom, we sweep that as well. All right, we sweep these lows and then we break structure to the upside. We come back to retest inside of the zone. And then price continues, eventually breaking these highs as well. And then this just happens over and over. So when we came back to the same area, right, the same area here, we came back. So that's why we entered the buys. Why? The stop loss down here was never violated. And then the main stop loss, which was the original sweep, all the way back here, around 20,000, definitely wasn't violated. So we have like a double buy zone going on right here. It's a lot of buying pressure. And if you zoom out, I did end up drawing the trend line as well from these lows. I did it on the line chart just to make it easier. As you see, I'll just do it again so you see it. Boom. I used the ray tool right here, ray, and then I go from these lows, click once, to these lows, higher lows, right? You want to go from low to higher low, and then make sure this next higher low is making a higher high. So it has to be like A, B, C, D. As long as you have something like that, as long as it looks like this, you're good. And as you see, it just makes the rest of the line for you, so you don't got to worry about extending it yourself. And then you use it again from these lows to the same higher lows. Boom. And as you see, we have a nice geometric line here. And I also did it from these highs down to represent liquidity. And as you see, we just broke this liquidity. We had all this we had everyone selling here, putting their stop loss at these highs for a while. This is the 4-hour chart. It took about 30 days, a month of liquidity being built up. 30 days, and then we finally broke out. Finally, we broke above these highs here, right? These are highs. And then this candle, we clearly broke out. Boom. Same thing over here. We have some highs. This dot here. Boom. We broke out. So the line chart just makes things more clear. If I know sometimes the candles can be like overwhelming, or the wicks, but that just helps to clear things up. But as you see, we can even indicate this. We have a high, broke above right here, and we got a couple retests. We have this imbalance here as well. So I'm not in a rush to take NAS buys until we come at least back into this imbalance, or, this is the first starting area where you can take trades, because this is the retest. And if it comes lower than this, then you have your whole imbalance right there. And if not that, then you have another one here as well. We have all this as an option. You can even draw the fib from the lows to the highs and just see where the discount would be, 50% and below. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. But I'll let you guys know when I get in as well. Again, like reposition, which would most likely be like in this area right in there. Because again, this is, go to the 1 hour. This is technically the setup. It may not look the best, but we have a low here, the high, sweep, and we broke above. Retest, gone. We'll see. Like all this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Quick question. Does an imbalance on a down candle, does that mean anything different on an imbalance on an up candle?
No, it means the same.
All right.
You mean like an imbalance like this?
Like, if we catch an imbalance on the way down, does that mean price needs to come back within there and that it'll bounce back down, or that it'll break through that imbalance? And if we have a imbalance where it's, on an upside, does that mean that price is going to like fill that in and then turn around, or will it break through, or it's all relative?
It just it's pretty much relative to the trend. Like anytime we have an imbalance, price can come back into that imbalance and sell off. And if you have a buying imbalance, it can do the same thing. But just to have more accuracy, you want to stick to imbalances that are with the trend, because those have a higher chance of just being filled and then price continues.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to do the sell ones, those can work as well. You can make money off those as well. But you have to keep in mind that, if you're going against the trend, there may be a lesser chance or a higher chance of you getting cooked. But at the same time, it's still possible. Like if you look here, the sell imbalance, very nice sell, like over 2,000 pips. But that was because we had already broken structure. We had broken beneath these lows. So that's a daily confirmation. And we broke beneath the lows with the imbalance. So these kind of imbalances are more accurate, because not only are we breaking structure, but you're also creating an imbalance. So when that retest came, that was nasty. That's the only time I would take like an imbalance trade, really. But yeah.
Okay. All right, I gotta get out of here. I got an appointment, but I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Do your thing.
All right.
But yeah, you guys have any questions, comments? I know the market here is it's 3 p.m. Let's see what happens. It's Martin Luther King Day. It's the inauguration. I want to see some crazy work. But I think Bitcoin or crypto's taking over for now. Yeah, Ethereum's is still in the buy zone. Don't forget. It's looking good. Shall see. This is nasty work. Boom. Sweep. More consolidation. We finally break above. Retest. So it's here. It can cook. It can cook. But yeah, I'll let you guys get back to it.